Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacqueline. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacqueline at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Wild at Heart Show, a show that is for men, by men, about men at USA Global TV and Radio every Wednesday. It's a show that is real, that is uncut with authentic men. My name is Roland, and as you can hear from my accent, I'm not a Native American or British English speaker. I'm born and raised in Austria, a little country in the middle of Europe, and I'm the creator of this show and the moderator. And I'm very happy that we already have episode 11 now, and we had so many amazing discussions with this panelists I will introduce shortly. And today we're going to talk about another topic that is very driven in our society. It's about what's the truth about guys and porn. And I will have this discussion with this amazing panel I am going to introduce now. Let's welcome first my dear friend from Germany, Christian.
Hi, Roland. Welcome back. Nice to see you guys here. And I'm really looking forward for this topic. It's going to be very interesting.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks. Good to have you back. Thanks, Christian. Yeah, the next guy I want to introduce is from Poland, my dear friend, MARCIN. MARCIN, welcome.
Hi, guys. Hello.
Hi, MARCIN.
Hi, MARCIN.
Welcome. Welcome to the panelists. The next one is my dear friend from Egypt. So very international panel. So from Egypt, we have my dear friend, Mohamed.Mounir.
Hello, Roland. Hello, all. Really
Hey,
missing you from last week. Thank you so much for having me.
Hi, my friend. Hi, my friend. Good to have you back here. Let's continue with Egypt, with another guy from Egypt. Let's bring him on board here. Welcome, Hazem.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Hazem. Good to see you. Good to have you on board. Hello. I guess it's okay. It looks like it's dark night in Egypt already. Okay. No way. So the next guy I want to introduce is an amazing guy from the UK. Welcome, Big Scott.
Hey, how you doing, guys? All good?
Hey, Big Scott. Hi, how are you
Good,
doing?
Yeah. Excited for this one.
Absolutely. Great to see you. And I don't know if the producer knows if Ezra, our Mexican friend from Spain, is already backstage or is still fighting. When he's backstage, please bring him on the panel list, and otherwise he will join us soon. Okay, guys. We have another topic. The last two sessions we've been talking about how our male sexuality is evolving when we're getting older. I guess this was a very good discussion, very deep one. And by the way, thanks for your openness and opening up to the panel and to the audience. And yeah, today we're talking about another topic that is very related to men, guys. And I did some research in preparation for this topic. About porn or porn industry, but we want to talk about guys and porn, what's true, because some women, especially when you interview women, girls, they believe in their boyfriend or their husband is looking on porn sites or whatever, that maybe he's not interested anymore, that she's not attractive anymore, he looks for something different, but it's absolutely not true. So I want to discuss different levels of it. Okay, why is this industry? Why are men are looking to it? Is it just to get some, as we said, it's an appetizer? I said, okay, it's an appetizer and we eat at home. It's just an appetizer. It's a hobby. It's already an addiction, what it is. So I just want to open the panelist. MARCIN is shaking his head. I guess he wants to start. MARCIN, what's your thought about this?
Yeah, thank you for throwing me this topic as first, Roland. I think we are all laughing at this because this is a serious matter and it is hard to talk about it and share. I think in my experience and also about people I know, that this thing can be either good or bad or neutral, and it depends on the situation. And as yet to be psychologist, I also know that this is one of the strongest behavioral addiction that can happen when we replace something that we miss, something that we need, with these sites, with those movies. And yeah, I think it can affect a relationship unless it is not, shared and talked through. So that's my opinion.
So when I understand your problem, Marcin, you say when you use it not every day, every minute as an addiction, it's okay. It's okay to watch porn as long as it's not too much, or.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not in the position to judge anyone, and that's why I just think that in a certain setup, it can be dangerous. And I can imagine a guy using it wisely once in a while. I don't know. I don't think it is a matter of, time frame. It's more for what actually we are using that. If I'm using it in order to, replace or get something that I cannot achieve in a human relationships, or maybe I'm using it, as a treat, as I don't know, a hobby, as you said. I don't know. I think we are playing with fire with those, so I would be cautious.
Okay. Who wants to add something here?
Well, I think as a man, porn, I think, has been tarred with a really dark brush. It's escapism, it's fantasy, and sometimes you can't fulfill your fantasy. So it's a place for escapism. So as like what Marcin was saying, if you try and replace it for human contact, then it can be addictive and it can be detrimental. But like you, Roland, I've done a little bit of research, and men, it's healthy to masturbate. And on a regular basis, it's being proven to help with prostate cancer. So, it's an urge that a man has, and if you're not in a relationship and you don't have the mental thoughts to physically stimulate yourself, then I don't see any problem of having a bit of fantasy or release. Some people use it to discover themselves. In your younger years, you don't know what's out there, you don't know what's taboo or whatnot. I was, as a kid, a friend of mine who I went to school with when I was about 5 or 6, he contacted me about 10 years ago, and he says, "Do you remember we were the first people in this school to get detention?" And it was because as a kid, my dad used to have porn mags under his bed, and I used to sneak and get them, and I took them to school, and I used to charge people 10p to have a read the porno mag. So I was entrepreneurial, but also crazy. So I think porn itself is not bad. Sex is something that we all thrive, we all love, we all appreciate as part of our bonding when you're with somebody. But I personally don't see porn as a bad thing. I think it's the mindset, and as what Marcin was saying is how you use it. Every now and then, it's not a problem. If you're whacking one off every day, 24 hours a day, as if you were playing a PlayStation, then that's a problem. But it can be used as escapism. And again, it can also be used to explore your own identity as a youngster. There's so many things out there. We were talking just behind the scenes, there's probably Disney porn. Do you know what I mean? So does that have detrimental things to it? So as far as I'm concerned, I think porn is not a necessity, but it can be used as a release. Pardon the pun. Yeah.
Well, guys, I don't know. Actually, in preparation of the show, actually, it took me a long while, and I'm just reading a book by my guru and master Osho, the book for man, and I strongly believe I have the same belief system that he says. As you said, Scott, masturbation is something normal and very healthy one. It's part of our sexuality. Sexuality is part of our human being, about being alive, of course. And actually, as you said, you're a young kid, when they explore your body, they touch your body, they feel your body, they bite themselves, and then wow, they touch their their sexual organs and what is absolutely normal. And then the parents said, oh no, they're ashamed, don't touch this, don't touch this, don't touch this. And then we go to school, we get in connection with religion. It doesn't matter what religion belief system it is, and sex is very bad and is suppressed, sexuality is suppressed. And then we don't have a normal sex life. It is a healthy one, because sex is there to, of course, to produce children. So we have next generations, but it's also about enjoyment. It's also about fun when we talk about tantra, the tantric way of life. But it's everything is suppressed, and people are so frustrated, and they're looking for channel. And that's why I believe that there is, I wouldn't say it's an addiction, but it's a supplement, or it's a substitute of a real good, healthy sex life. What do you think, guys?
I absolutely agree with that. And the thing, hi Ezra.
Hey, Ezra.
Hey,
Hey, good evening.
finally.
Good.
Well, and I see, first thing is, yes, masturbation is healthy and has on the same point and in the same time nothing to do with porn.
Absolutely.
So this is this thing. And the other thing is that porn can be used as an escape, because the things I see in porn videos are maybe in 1% that what really happens between men and women in real life. So this is all going to stories, to imaginations and fantasies, like you said, Roland. And my brain learns with that this is the way sexuality has to look like, and starts building up patterns based on porn videos. And that can make it very hard to really get in emotional touch and in a really connection to women in sexuality. So yes, I absolutely agree with Scott and Marcin. It can be dangerous for a healthy sex life to use porn. And in my experience with working with other men, I see how easy it is to get into this addiction, because it's like porn is almost everywhere. There are so many free sites, you can access it just like that, and it's so easy. And that's in my opinion one of the dangerous points, because it's so easy to get into this addiction.
Yeah, and I don't know if I need to jump here. First of all, it's good to have this kind of diversity in the discussions that we're having. This is the first of all. This is something, because I learned it's something about suppression and not being able to talk about it. It's shame and so on in the schools, and we have in the Middle East, we have totally the opposite of this. We think it's more in Europe, the States, and so on, developed countries. We're talking. This is an open subject. It's not a taboo. It's you can discuss it, you learn it, and so on, and it's not part of the really the religion. And so it was news for me to be able to understand that this is something you have it there as well in Europe. So thanks for this kind of new info. Second, I would say that I would, Marcin was saying, that it's absolutely about if you're going to excessive something related with that, or the normal behavior, or even less or no porn, and that's it's all about dopamine. And I think it's when you think it and you start relating it with this kind of dopamine generation and why it is needed, then you think about the three levels that Marcin was saying about it. And I would say that if it's the normal thing, if it's every now and then, if it's about anxiety, about being willing to see something that is different, that's normal. That's part of being men, part of being human being. This is a creation. And if you're talking about excessive, like it's like addiction or something, that's coming always from men who are not able to express themselves. They are really into this kind of pressure all the time. It's anxieties, and this is something that can be as a release or an escape. And if you're talking about the less or no, zero, this is where it becomes dangerous as well, because that's not human being, that's not men, because men would need every now and then to change, to have something that is different, whether we have a healthy relationship with the spouses or the wives or not. This is something that happens normally, and if it's not, then something might be wrong as well, because this kind of urge or being willing to explore, that's part of being alive, that's part of being man, that's part of being human.
So, as far as in the Middle East, there's no porn industry, or there's no access to it, or
okay. Let me tell you, the highest number of access from to porn sites in the States or Europe and Canada are coming from the Middle East. There are, countries that are preventing, Emirates, for example, Kuwait, for example. I mean, you don't have access to porn. Okay. Although it is, Emirates is a very open culturally and so on, but you don't have it. However, teenagers, big men, does not have this kind of problem. They will definitely find a solution, VPN and so on, and they get over it, and they just put a VPN and they get access. So it is really one of the highest areas where the access to porn or porn search or Google search about sites related with porn and so on. This is the highest.
Okay. I remember when I was traveling a lot to see my business clients worldwide years ago, when before internet was brought, when it was, the special TV sites, Blue TV or how they called it, in business hotels. And then the people especially from Asian country, they watched like crazy. And when you're on the reception, you checked out, they said, oh, it was not me. And then when internet was on, they downloaded like crazy, high volumes of this internet. So there is a market there too. But my question is, because I want to understand it. I guess I said in the previous show, I never was interested to go in a club and to watch a girl dancing or whatever she's doing there, because I was always more a doer than a watcher, than an observer. I was very active. And for me, it's the same with porn. To watch something, I'm not involved. I don't understand the system, because it doesn't trigger me, because I want to be involved. So my question is porn a substitute for a fulfilled, happy, spiritual sex life?
Yeah, I need to jump in, because here it's like, when we eat something that is fake, for example, contains some fake coloring, scents and stuff like that, and we think we eat something healthy and tasty, but the truth is we are eating junk food. So for me, this is the metaphor for porn as well, because our brain cannot differentiate between reality and fantasy in that scene. So when I'm watching porn and I'm fully involved in the action, let's say, then all the hormones and dopamines and my body is reacting. But the problem is it is not a real thing. So I cannot even say that it replaces anything. We believe it can soothe some of our pains, but the hunger is still there, and we are still hungry after eating that.
Okay. It's like a chunky. You're addicted, you do it, and then you're frustrated.
Yeah.
And okay.
Yeah,
Ezra,
I think so.
What's your point, man?
Yeah. I believe that porn, can you hear me well?
Yeah.
I believe that porn responds to a natural drive or natural drive, we want to call it, which is simply curiosity. You know, in Spanish we have an expression or a word called morbo. It has morbo. It's curious. It has not morbid in the sense of bad, but it's attractive. It's curious, and I can see that in certain societies, for example, in the Middle East or any other societies that have quite a restrictive sexual life and expression of sex in their lives, can have this heightened curiosity, you know, because it's not normal in a sense, or it's not something that they share with other people openly. So there's this curiosity behind this willing or wishing to look for porn or erotic images or even literature. It's a natural drive of curiosity. The problem comes when it's needed, when there's an addiction, when it feels something that is lacking. Something that is lacking could be in a relationship, in a sexual relationship, when one of the partners needs to have porno, or this apparent need. So it becomes an addiction, and then the addiction can get worse, you know, because it's not only looking for self-gratification, but it's like a need of the body for this dopamine high, or this all the neurotransmitters that are released when the stimulus is near or close. So I think the natural origin of this is curiosity that comes from our hormonal drives as well, and then it goes in further, and then it attacks or takes over a certain part of psychology, and then our psychology, of course, dictates a lot of our thoughts, of our words, of our actions, and then it becomes addictive, and it becomes an apparent need. So it's a vicious cycle in a sense. I believe that porn, or I would say erotic material, is healthy, you know, because we're all human. Men and women have physiological needs and also psychological needs or ideas about sex, and it's part of a healthy relationship. The problem would be when it damages, you know, the relationship, when it damages one's health, because some of this porn, which is excessive, is quite damaging physically, I believe, to men and women. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Ezra. Guys, after we go into commercial break, but what I want to discuss with you guys after the commercial break is something that just came into my mind. The last two episodes we've been discussing when we said our male sexuality is evolving, it's different than we've been younger, and we said we need connection. It's less about performance, it's more about connection. And on the other hand, in preparation for the show, I saw studies where I saw a lot of porn users or consumers are older men. So what is it? Is it you consuming porn or looking for connection and intimacy? I want to discuss this after the commercial break when it's okay for you guys. So let's go to commercial breaks, and then we continue soon with our discussion.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAT partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAT partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
I tried to ignore it, but my stomach issues were out of control. I couldn't fix them on my own. It was time to do something. A friend said the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation could help me find a specialist. Feels good to finally have a plan. Don't hide your symptoms. Get help at spillyourguts.org today.
Take a moment.
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 So I've had the privilege of photographing some incredible people over the years, and during each shoot I've asked the subject to close their eyes and take themselves to a peaceful place just for a few seconds. I've found that this really helps to refresh the energy between the camera and the subject. They had an energy that was quite special and quite different from the rest of the shoot. The collection grew, and now it feels the right time to use it for something good. I think it'd be amazing if we could help to raise awareness and involve people in the discussion about mental health. So what we're asking to do is for everyone to upload their own self-portraits. All of these portraits will become part of a massive artwork. I'm really excited to see this project go from hundreds of pictures to thousands of pictures. Essentially, an ever-evolving artwork that says we're all in this together.
Close your eyes and take a moment.
It's less about performance and sex life. It's more about intimacy, connection. And on the other hand, study shows that a huge part of porn consumers are older men. Isn't this a contradiction, or what's going on here? Scott.
I think what it is, what we were talking about, as you just said there, is a lot of men, as they're getting older, it's about affection and stuff. But the statistics of a lot of older men doing it, you might find, is that men that have been in relationships for 20, 30, 40 years that don't have that confidence to talk to their partner, or they find it as a release, or they've been in a relationship for that long that they might not be having sex, so they're looking for releases. But an increasing population of women as well are getting interested in porn, but it's more sensual porn. When I used to do radio, I covered this topic, and more women, but they're not into just full-on wham bam thank you man, or the guy comes in, sorts your plumbing out, and before you know it, you're on the couch. They want more intimacy, so it's not more about the final act, it's all more about the build-up, so it's stimulation. So I don't think it's just older men. It depends what the where the survey came from. Do you know what I mean? Some people will say porn is the scourge, it's devil's work, and others it's fine. And in a relationship, you know, in healthy relationships, they might want to watch porn or stuff. So I think it's generally tarred with a horrible brush, and there's taboo from a young age. I can't remember who was saying it earlier on, but we're told to shy away from it. Don't talk about it. It's taboo. You don't talk about it in school. You don't openly talk about it with your parents. So how are people as a youngster, how are you going to find out about things unless you're brainwashed by what's on mainstream TV? So I think the older men, going back to what we're saying, older men you might find is ones that have been in long-term relationships, and they love their partner dearly, and they don't want to go and have an affair or you know, take it out of the bedroom or whatever. So
okay, Scott, before I hand over to Christian, I have an additional question. What you mentioned, because you said you had this topic on your radio show, and we talked about that more women are watching porn, but it's different. It's more about sensitive. It's more about talking and foreplay, or what is it? I'm just curious.
I think it's not more about talking and foreplay. It's more about sensual touch and exploration of the body, rather than just going, you know, they have, you know, beginner aperitif, and then, you know, you have your starter and then your main course, whereas the starter could last a long time. Whereas some young men, as you're a young man, young buck, you just want the main course straight away. So, yeah,
yeah, it's a bit more about connection. It's a bit more about connection, you know, physical connection, sensual connection, not just my needs and that's it, you know. It's
women are more mental. Women are more mental, and as an older man, I think you learn that. Do you know what I mean? To turn on more of the mental stimulation, and then the physical comes as and when, you know. So,
okay, interesting. Christian, you wanted to say something?
Oh yeah, well, there's so much good input today. I'm really excited by that. I think women are much more emotionally driven than mentally driven in terms of sexuality. So if you reach them emotionally, I think that can be extremely helpful as well. The thing, what makes porn so huge, I think, is for us men, even when we're younger, or especially when we're young, it's quite hard to explain our sexual needs, because we don't learn that. And even when we're older and in a relationship, I know a lot of men and even a lot of women as well. They don't know how to communicate what they really want, what they really need, because there is shame and there is stuff like that. So as a result of that, they choose porn because it's very easy to have, and well, then they have what they want. And at the same time, they're losing connection. And so the wish for connection is the one thing. The other thing is, how do I really get into connection? And for me, the way to get into connection is communication in both ways, like verbally, emotionally. So it's more than two ways, and with the body. And so you have to really learn to understand your partner to get into a really good connection on all levels. And if you don't get that, and a lot of people don't get that, so they use porn, and that makes them lonely. And every time they look more porn, they get even lonelier, and they even more do not know how to reach their partner, how to communicate their needs. So this is like a devil's circle, I think.
Yeah. Guys, I have a question to you guys, because something popped up in the chat. When you're in a relationship and you watch porn, is this cheating? Because there's a quote that says, I have a friend who caught her husband watching porn on a regular basis. She divorced him because of it. She felt he was cheating on her. Is watching porn cheating on your partner, guys? What do you think?
I think it depends on how he was watching it, but I wouldn't say it was cheating. She probably felt offended by the fact that she caught him doing it without him being open. She might have liked porn and stuff, but I wouldn't say it was cheating. In a way, I would say it would be the reverse, because if I'd rather them watching porn than going out and sleeping with somebody else, you know. So it's a form of escapism. So I wouldn't class it as cheating. No.
This is
I would say that.
Okay, Ezra.
I'm sorry, Christian. I would say that, just like you said, Christian, that it's just a simple matter of lack of connection. You know, It's a lack of connection, this inability to communicate the needs. But the problem originates from our inability to connect with ourselves, because most of us, when we were young, we only had the drive of the sexual drive, all these hormones, and you didn't even know why you were looking at girls, but you were looking at them, and then you grow older, and you, as men, most likely, we grow without connection with ourselves, and we can't even name our emotions. We can't even name our needs. We just like robots doing what we're supposed to do as men, and then we go into relationships, and we can't even express our needs because we don't know what our needs are, and we find out of them through reaction. We see a woman who's beautiful or nice looking or attractive, and there's a reaction, and we don't even think about it. We just react, but we don't understand it. We don't know. So if we don't have the connection with ourselves, so we don't have the understanding of saying, "Oh, okay, this woman turns me on because this and that or whatever," we cannot, we cannot express it to our wife or to our partner or to whoever is next to us. I like it like this. I like it like that. I like the way you wear your hair. I like the way you dress. I like these things. And these are tips, for the relationship to understand each other and to fulfill, in a sense, or at least try to meet the other person's needs because I love her or she loves me, and vice versa. And it's just a matter of connection. And if someone is having to hide to watch porn or to watch erotic movies or whatever from his partner, that's just it's a signal of a lack of connection, a lack of communication, a lack of understanding, a lack of being one, being separate.
Yeah, yes, maybe Ezra, that's something that if you take it within this kind of context, that once there is this kind of connection and so on, it will make everything in life is better with the partner. You're living together. This is part of making this communication, understanding of each other's, and then communicate. This will definitely help. However, it becomes when I see the questions in the chat and so on, and the idea that the woman is feeling that there is that she's not enough, and he's taking if he's watching porn, then he's cheating on her. He does not have the connection. Maybe he will be pleasuring himself away from her, and that's diminish her in his life and so on, and that's bad. And I would say that from the other side as well, from the guy, if he does not understand that the kind of urge that makes this happen, the feeling of guilt will always be with the man. So a lot of the men who does not understand the things, they do not communicate with themselves first, or understanding what is the why and how it is being done. The feeling of guilt will always be a barrier, and the more he does, the more feeling of guilt, the more the wife and so on. It's going to be a vicious circle, but it's part of being a human, and that's the primitive man is hunter. Yani that's how he was created. This is the primitive, the part of it that's from I don't know how many million years. When men was created, it is part of their DNA that they seek beauty. They are hunter. They go and hunt, and part of this kind of primitive man is exactly the way we are dealing with different kind of women, different hair types, different body shapes, and so on. And it's all about the curiosity, the change, the need for being, changing. And instead of doing this kind of change by cheating, by going into relationships that are not fulfilling and so on, and maybe it ruins the marriage life, part of it is going to point in the right level, as Marcin stated in the beginning, where it is okay to fulfill this kind of primitive man, but keeping the relationship with the partner as healthy as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in my relationship, it's totally different. I'm not interested, really, not interested. Sometimes my girlfriend, when she's not in the mood, she said, "Watch your porn and help yourself." And I said, "What? I don't want this. No, that's not what I'm looking for." So it's the opposite. Yeah. So yeah. I could look if I want, but I'm not interested in it. It's interesting. Yeah. Christian, I thought you wanted to add something.
Yes, I love what Mohammed says. But on the same time, this kind of connection to a woman really needs a good communication. And this is a very grown-up form of communication. If you really are able to open up so much that you can, as a man, express all your needs and be honest to your wife or to your partner, that really shows a very good and established communication and a connection between a man and a woman, or a man and a man, or a woman and a woman, whatever it is. But in my view, I think 5% maybe of all the relationships I see, they have this kind of connection and communication. So there's a lot of work for us guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's like with the relationships, you know, a lot of you guys are talking on a relationships that you've had for 20, 30, maybe 40 years, I don't know. But when you're new in a relationship, that's all about exploring. The longer you spend with somebody, the more you open up to them. And I think as a younger man, you don't hang around to get to know anybody or whatever, you know. So it's all about, as a relationship progresses, then yes, you should be open and you should be able to feel more and express more. But as a man, and again, as a maturing man, it takes a lot of confidence, you know. And I think that's what it is in a lot of men. When you're transitioning from a young man to a fully mature adult, we're just learning to understand who we are and not question ourselves and not hold back and be open and honest. I think it was MARCIN who said you've got to be open and honest with yourself. And then when you're honest with yourself and you're honest around anybody around you, then life becomes a lot easier. But it's not something that it takes a lot of work to open up to somebody, especially if you've had relationships in the past where you've opened up to somebody and then they've used your emotions that you've given as tools against you when there's a row or whatever. You could close certain doors. So I think it's just being open, expressive, and sometimes you might need porn to find out what exactly turns you on. The brain, you can create so many images, mental images, but every single one of us is different. You know, we all have different quirks. We all have different things that turn us on and don't turn us on. And I think that's what a longer relationship's about. And sometimes porn can come into that relationship. If it's healthy, porn can be healthy, but it's all about the mindset of the person that's watching porn. And I think as you get older, you don't rely on it as much. As a youngster, then, yeah, you might be watching it 4 or 5 times a week, maybe once a week. But as you get older, it's not in your top 10 of things to do on a daily basis.
My question, guys, is because we're slowly coming to end. Born good or bad? I mean, we didn't have it for thousands of years and we are still existing as human beings. Good or bad?
I think if it's regular, it's bad and it needs medical help because not all the what you're going to see is clean, and maybe it's dirty and. In the last times when we were in the teenage, it used to be education. We want to know how people perform in sex, but what we can see now in what's happening, that Roland, you can see it's not clean at all now. What you see, so is this right or wrong? Maybe people can see it from different angles, but I know people that seeks medical help. Because yes, if you see it regularly, it's an addiction. But maybe we all it pumps up in our mobile now. In the Middle East, as Mounir said, it's censored and it's illegal, and no satellite dishes can broadcast porn. It's illegal. Even there are filters on the internet in Saudi Arabia. But also there's ways to bypass this. If my suppose, for example, used to watch porn, so this means that I'm not satisfying her, or as Ezra said that communication is cut. There is no communication. Yes, this will lead to a divorce at the end, because I cannot find any satisfaction with my partner, so I'm finding it in seeing regularly porn videos. I'm in trouble. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, last word. Who wants to have a last word on it?
Yeah,
Marcin?
I would just throw in. I will be short. So just this thought came to me that maybe the level of porn consumption may be a measurement of our loneliness as a human race, and it is a very sad thought. So I don't know if it is true.
Ezra. Thank you, Marcin.
Yeah, I think that us men, as we grow older, our brain moves from between our legs to our head, and then as that happens, our heart opens. You know, as we grow older, in which we realize that sex is much more than just humping. You could say it's much more than just doing it for the 3 minutes or whatever. It's much more than that. It's tenderness, it's openness, it's giving, it's receiving. You know, as men also, we need to learn to receive. We need to learn to feel. We need to learn to be present. So the modern man is one that is open, which is a man in all his humanity, you know, in his mind, with his cognitive functions clear and present, and with his heart open, a complete man. And other things like erotic movies, well, I prefer to call them erotic, not pornographic, or literature, or chit-chatting with your woman or with your partner is just the spice of life. Yeah.
Thank you, Ezra.
Totally.
Okay, guys. Scott, you want to add something at the end?
No, I was just saying I totally agree with Ezra and Marcin. You know, it can be a lonely thing, but at the end of the day, we all want attachment, and we all want to be open and honest with people. And I think the more open and honest you are as an older man, the better your life will be. Do you know what I mean? Just speak. You know, and as a man, we're not taught to talk about our emotions, but our emotions are 50% of our existence. You know, we have the primate instincts. You know, I think we're only one of a few species that actually have sex for fun. You know, and that's what sex should be. With the right person, it should be fun and carefree.
Absolutely.
And if it involves porn, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know, so anything in moderation is healthy.
Yeah. What I also found out, just to summarize it, during the preparation on different studies on porn and porn addiction, what I found out is why so many men are become addicted, and I said there are different aspects, and I just have a few. I want to mention a few. One is full control. It's always available, and full control. You decide when you switch on, when you switch off. You're not emotionally attached. You're not emotionally involved. Yeah. You don't have to connect. You just go in, release, it's done, and you're in full control. And that's why so many men are watching porn and not having sex with their beloved ones. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your openness and for this amazing discussion. Maybe we continue on this topic if there is more to explore about it, because it's an interesting topic. Actually, by the way, it's a huge industry, no discussion on that. And it's always the same stuff when I talk to guys and I say, no, I don't watch porn, but it's a huge industry. The same when I never go to McDonald's, but it's a huge industry. So of course we are consuming it time to time, some more often, some less often. It's part of it, or they go to strip clubs or whatever. So it's there. And yeah, thanks a lot. It was very, very interesting. Hope you enjoyed it like myself. And to our audience, wherever you're listening or observing us or listening on a radio station, if you want to go in contact with us, just go on the website. It's bonfiretalks.com. Let you know what you think about this discussion. Maybe you want to add something, you want to do some reflection, giving some feedback, or even bringing up a new topic, let us know. We're more than happy to get in contact with you. Thank you so much for watching USA Global TV and Radio, the Wild at Heart show. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Mounir. Thank you, Hazem. Thank you, Marcin. Thank you, Ezra. See you next time, next Wednesday, same time, same station at USA Global TV and Radio. Bye-bye.